Jack Smith under fire. Hatch Act probe sparks political drama. Trump legal battle. In a significant turn of events, the Office of Special Counsel has initiated an investigation into Jack Smith, the former special counsel known for spearheading key investigations into how ex-President Donald Trump dealt with classified documents and his suspected attempts to undermine the 2020 election results. This probe particularly focuses on possible violations of the Hatch Act, which restricts certain political activities of government officials to ensure that federal actions do not influence elections or manifest in a partisan manner. The Hatch Act aims to foster an impartial government atmosphere and applies not only to federal employees, but also to state and local staff involved in federally funded programs. However, it's worth noting that the Office of Special Counsel, which operates independently of politically appointed special counsels like Smith, was established by Congress to address issues such as whistleblower retaliation and Hatch Act transgressions. Interestingly, the current head of the Office of Special Counsel is an acting appointee chosen by Trump, following the dismissal of the previous director who had been appointed by President Joe Biden. This raises questions about the office's autonomy and its alignment with political powers. The office's role is vital, and it often handles delicate matters related to government ethics, especially in the politically charged climate surrounding investigations like Smith's. In a report from 2021, it was revealed that 13 officials from Trump's administration had violated the Hatch Act, including Kellyanne Conway, who was recommended for removal by the Office of Special Counsel for her infractions. Even more recently, in 2023, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre received a warning for using the term mega MAGA during a briefing, illustrating that the enforcement of the Hatch Act can lead to various responses ranging from trivial reprimands to job terminations based on the severity of the violation. After resigning from the Justice Department earlier this year, Smith is no longer serving in the federal government. His departure followed the conclusion of the criminal cases regarding classified documents and alleged election manipulation. His 2-year investigation into Trump marked a historic moment, as it was the first instance of a former president facing federal charges, a development that has triggered backlash from Trump and his supporters, who label Smith's investigations as a misuse of federal power. Trump has even expressed intentions to dismiss Smith if he regains the presidency, breaking established norms around special counsel's roles. The investigation from the Office of Special Counsel comes on the heels of statements from Trump ally Senator Tom Cotton, who recently alleged that Smith exploited his role at the Department of Justice to sway the election in favor of Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. Cotton underscored Smith's timing in filing a court brief just 60 days prior to Election Day, which could potentially breach other Justice Department regulations. Amplifying the controversy surrounding the investigation, legal experts such as Richard Painter, who served as the chief ethics lawyer during President George W. Bush's administration, emphasized the unusual nature of labeling a prosecutor's actions during legal proceedings as a Hatch Act violation. He noted that unless Smith engaged in partisan public commentary or utilized press releases closely aligned with the election, his actions should not be construed as a Hatch Act breach. However, the specific focus of the investigation by the Office of Special Counsel remains unclear. Painter expressed skepticism about the agency's independence, especially after Trump dismissed Hampton Dellinger, a Biden nominee, opting instead for a new interim head aligned with Trump's interests. The political nature of appointments in such agencies raises concerns regarding their impartiality and effectiveness. A political appointee is inclined to serve the president's agenda, which compromises the agency's intended independence, Painter remarked. This erosion of independence is further echoed by insiders and watchdog organizations, who claim the agency has become subservient to the very administration it is meant to oversee, thus diluting its effectiveness as a nonpartisan entity. A former federal ethics officer candidly stated, As this investigation unfolds, it invites a dialogue on the balance of power, the integrity of governmental agencies, and the politicization of justice. Do you think the Office of Special Counsel can maintain its independence in a climate steeped in political tension? How do we safeguard impartiality in government investigations, crucial to our democracy's functioning? Your thoughts and opinions are welcome in the comments below. Investigation into Jack Smith, what you need to know. Imagine this. The very man who spearheaded high-profile criminal cases against a former president is now under the microscope himself. U.S. federal authorities have launched an inquiry into Jack Smith, the former special counsel who resigned earlier this year after leading two significant federal criminal cases against President Donald Trump. The Office of the Special Counsel, OSC, confirmed to the BBC that they are indeed investigating Mr. Smith. Though they remained tight-lipped about the specifics, back in 2022, Mr. Smith was handpicked to investigate Trump's alleged mishandling of classified documents and his purported efforts to meddle in the 2020 election results. But here's where it gets controversial. While the OSC doesn't have the power to file criminal charges against Mr. Smith, it can take disciplinary actions or refer its findings to the Department of Justice. The OSC, an independent federal agency, primarily focuses on investigating and addressing violations of federal rules by U.S. civil service members. It operates independently from the special counsel's offices under the Department of Justice, which, unlike the OSC, can file federal criminal charges. Recent reports from U.S. media suggest that the OSC is probing Mr. Smith for potential violations of the Hatch Act, a law that explicitly bans government officials from engaging in political activities. This development follows a call from Republican Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas, who urged the OSC to investigate Mr. Smith for what he termed unprecedented interference in the 2024 election. Mr. Smith was appointed by then Attorney General Merrick Garland in November 2022 to oversee federal investigations into Trump. Both cases he handled resulted in criminal charges against the president, who pleaded not guilty and argued that the prosecutions were politically motivated. Interestingly, these cases were eventually closed after Trump's victory in the November 2024 presidential election, as Justice Department regulations prohibit the prosecution of a sitting president. In a recent post on X, Senator Cotton labeled the investigations and charges as mere tools for the Biden and Harris campaigns, calling them very likely illegal campaign activity from a public office. The BBC has reached out to Mr. Smith's legal representative for comments on the ongoing OSC investigation. And this is the part most people miss. The OSC's investigation into Mr. Smith comes on the heels of Trump's controversial firing of its former head, Hampton Dellinger, in February. Dellinger had advocated for the reinstatement of probationary federal employees laid off by the Trump administration. Although a judge later deemed Dellinger's firing unlawful, a federal circuit court allowed the Trump administration to replace him while his legal battle continued. Dellinger eventually dropped his case in March, expressing doubt that the Supreme Court would rule in his favor and warning of potential harm to the agency. Mr. Smith isn't the first former government official to face scrutiny under the Trump administration. In May, the Secret Service initiated an investigation into former FBI Director James Comey over a social media post involving seashells, which Republicans claimed incited violence against Trump. Comey, who served as FBI Director from 2013 to 2017 under Barack Obama, has denied these allegations. Moreover, earlier this month, U.S. media reported that both Comey and former CIA Director John Brennan were under investigation for allegedly making false statements to Congress during their probe into Russian interference in the 2016 election. Brennan later told NBC that he views the investigation into him as a continuation of the politicization of the intelligence community under Trump. So, what do you think? Is this investigation justified, or is it another example of political maneuvering? Share your thoughts in the comments.